Oh, hello everyone. Welcome in Teams Nation in this beautiful sunny day, at least in Warsaw. Today's session approvals in Microsoft Teams. My name is Marcin Siewnicki. I'm from Warsaw, Poland. I work as Microsoft 365 consultant, architect. I'm one of the SharePoint Saturday Warsaw organizer. My main area, my focus are Office 365, of course, but in details Teams, SharePoint Online, because I'm a SharePoint guy. I've been working in SharePoint, well, for 14, 15 years now. And I'm also a big fan of automation, work automation, and other automation tasks, processes, and tools. Okay, but our today's session, today's agenda. So first, introduction to approvals, why we need approvals, why we should care about approvals, and why to do this in Teams. Then I will show you approvals application in Teams, dedicated application that's quite new, introduced this year. Then I will talk about new features that are coming soon to Teams, but you can use them or test them right now, but they quite interesting and really powerful, at least one. Then I will talk a little about advanced scenarios, what to do if we want to use approvals in Teams, but we have more advanced scenarios, complex processes, complex approvals, etc. So let's start. Approval, some acceptance process. It's, well, critical part of most workflows, if not all. We use approvals in document approval system, management processes, official signatures, back office processes, etc. I can't imagine any business process without approval. So the stage when some employee sends some request to manager, group of managers, maybe some different department, and ask for approval, acceptance, ask for some action, and that manager can approve that request. That's positive end, but of course you can also reject that request, and then it will go back to the requester and with negative feedback. We can also add more adding more options to approvals, but this is very basic, very simple. But it fits, I think, most requirements, most processes. And great tool in Teams for this kind of approvals, simple but powerful. So we send a request to someone and ask for approve, reject, yes, no for 2 actions. And there's an approval application in Teams. This is dedicated application. It's personal application. It's central place for all approvals in Teams, but also in entire Microsoft 365. So it's not only if you create approval in Teams, but entire Microsoft Office tenant. You can start approvals from chat. That's great. Great feature. Yes, you can work directly from a chat. That's also very good because you don't need to switch to different window, different application. Yeah, all approvals from entire environment. This is only one stage approval. That's very important. But now I think okay, this is one. I can go and switch to demo because it's more important than my slides. So first, when we want to use approvals application in Teams, we must add it, install it in our team. I've just done it already, but I'll show you how to do this. If we go to 3 dots or apps and type approvals, yes, you will be able to install that application, but because I've just done it, so it's already installed, so it's in my left-hand menu with nice logo and approvals. And inside we have two sections. First one is left pane with two options: received and sent. Of course, received that we receive some approvals, and sent that with approvals that we created and sent for someone. Well, main action, main work window when we get list with all of our approvals with statuses, dates, and who requested and who should approve that request. And then at the right top of the page, there are two options, some filtering options, very basic, and a very important button for new approval request. It's very important because we will, maybe a little bigger, we can start a new approval directly from this place. So I can switch to my to send, so because this is my demo environment, so there's a lot of test approvals that I created and I received because I tested on myself. But there's a huge list. I can click on that one, check details, and check current status. So this is requested and response is pending. So, and it's created it was created 7 hours ago. So, but let's start and create a new approval. It's very basic form. There's not too many fields. First, and it's very important, title. So if I want to send and create and send approval to someone, I must type a name. Yeah, easy to understand, because if we create only one, two words, it won't be easy to find out in huge list. So let's say work from home approval. If I want to work from home, but I must ask for approval, I can do this, and I must type approvers. I will use myself. Okay, but I can enter multiple people. If I type, let's say, John, I can then select if I require a response from all approvers or only from first one. So this is the same. If you are familiar with Power Automate, it's the same feature as in approvals in Power Automate. Okay, I stay only with myself. I can add some details. I can also add an attachment. It's very important. I can upload from OneDrive from my computer or attach a link. Okay, some test PDF file. Yes, replace. And I can also modify responses. By default, there's approve and reject, but I can change it to, well, yes, no, or type it in your own language, specific to approval request, etc. Okay, and I can click send, and that's it. Approval is created. Yes, and as you can see, there's new notification in my activity section, so I know that there's something new. If I go there, okay, the window with approval is loading, so I can go check what's going on in this approval and accepted, so I can use these two custom actions. Or because I'm also requester for this approval, I can cancel that request. But let's say I accept that one, and that's it. If I go back to my approvals application, yeah, its status is to yes, it's accepted. I can check when it was created. If I go to details, I can check the same information as in the action window. So it's quite easy to use. Only if I want to start with approval, just click button new approval and type very basic information, and that's all. But first thing, quite interesting, document. I can attach a document, attach a file. If I go to that file, as you can see, it's hosted in my OneDrive for business, of course, but it's my OneDrive, so I upload it to my OneDrive, or approvals application upload it to my OneDrive. And guess what? If you create approvals and attach files, and you go to your OneDrive, you find approval document folder, and inside all of your uploaded attachments to your approvals. And very important, all of these files are shared. As you can see, if I click that icon, and they are shared with entire people in my environment, in my tenant. So everyone with this link can go and access that file and edit that file. So it's important to understand that if you attach a file to your approval in Teams, in approval application, that file will be shared to entire organization with edit level. But if you send a link, so it's not visible, but if you send the link, or the approver sent link to someone else, that person can modify your file or do something with it. So that's first quite interesting and need to know thing about that. Second one, very important, but what if I work with external people, with guests in Teams? Well, I can click approval request. Let's say document approval 99, and type my external, business email. So it's from different domain. Okay, I can add this email to here. I add an attachment also, but let's say 16 maybe. Okay, and send. So I can create an approval for a guest user. Yes, as you can see, it's created. It's sent to my guest user. Okay, but what's important from the guest perspective? Yes, this is my guest. Where is my guest environment? Here. Okay, this is my. Why is it? No, it's not my environment. Sorry, this one. This one. That's better. Okay, this is my test. This is my guest account. So I'm signing in from different tenant. I'm here as a guest from the ISG domain, and I'm switched to my demo tenant, and I get the request from myself. As you can see, there is document approval 99, and guess what? I can approve or reject that one. A few weeks ago, it didn't work, but currently it's working. So I can click approve or reject, and it will be approved or rejected. So it's nice feature. Yeah, requested, approved, great. But if I go to that request and try to open my PDF file, well, it's forbidden because it's shared only for my organization, not for guests. So by default, attached files won't work for guest users. And the second thing, if I, as a guest, try to create a new approval, and try to type someone, well, there's no results found. So I can't create approval as a guest user. So I can receive approvals, I can approve or reject that approval, but I can't create new approvals by myself. So at least I can do some actions, approve, reject, or whatever I can. So it's one step forward, because it wasn't possible a few weeks ago. So there was very weird and complicated error message, but now it's working, so that's good, but with some limitations. So keep it in mind that you can create approvals, send it to guest users, and they can act. They can approve, reject. They also get email message with that there's a new approval waiting for them. Okay. And as you can see, okay, lost again my window here. Okay, and this is only one stage approval, so I can't add second level of approvals, third, etc. There's only one approver, or if I add multiple people, there'll always be one stage. When it's done, accepted, rejected, it's the request, the approval process is finished. If I want second level, well, I must create a new approval and a new approval task, etc. So it's one stage level, one level approval process. Yeah, files are shared to entire organization in edit, so everyone with link, but with link, not. It's important that with link, and yeah, not for guest users. That point is from my last session, but currently guest users can accept, reject, but can't create their own approval. So there's one step forward, but still something to do, and private channels are not supported for approvals application. So we can't, I will show you that because it's quite important. If I go to Teams and go to my team, I can type new conversation, and there is approval, of course, and I can create approval directly in my channel, in my Teams channel. Let's say travel request to what? To Helsinki. And approver, of course, myself. Okay, that's it. I don't need more, maybe some. Okay, and click send. As you can see, approval has been created not only in approval application, but it's visible directly in channel, in Teams channel. So everyone in that team can see that there's a new approval, and based on permissions, they can go and approve or reject directly from a channel. So it's well, even easier. I don't need to switch to my application, but if I work with my team and someone sends something to some approval to our team, I can go and, of course, click view details, but I can, let's say, reject that one. Yeah, it will take a few seconds and finished. Yeah, rejected. So it's quite easy to work with approvals even from Teams channels. But if I go to private channel and start a new conversation, there's no such option. I can't create approval from private channel. So it simply won't work there because it's private channel architecture doesn't allow to create such actions, such approvals in private channels. But keep it in mind, you can't create it from private channel, but still you can create it from a standard channel or from approvals application. Okay. And yeah, new features, because approvals applications is quite new. It was introduced in January this year, so it's, well, 4 or 5 months old. So it was first iteration of approval application with some basic features that cover basic scenarios, but Microsoft announced a lot of new features that will be introduced this year, and 2 features are now available in preview. So you can switch your teams to preview, to developers mode, and check those 2 features. And they are quite interesting because first one is templates. So you can create your own template for approval, and people from your team, from your organization can then use that template. So that's quite interesting and very powerful. And the second one, you can capture electronic signatures like Adobe Sign, DocuSign, etc. Currently in preview mode, there's only eAdobe available, but I hope, and it was announced that there will be at least DocuSign and some other providers. Okay, but switch to Teams. So if I go to my About and switch to developer preview mode, yes, I want to switch. Now I will be able to use new features. Yes, as you can see, there is something new, something different in the entire application layout. First, we have this received and sent at top of the page, not on the left pane. And let's go to the first point. There's at the right side of new approval request button, there are three dots, ellipses, and manage templates. Okay, I can create a new template. Because I'm administrator, I can create check all the other templates, use them. There's list with predefined templates. For example, business card, item application, field trips, business trip leave, overtime, etc. So there's a lot of predefined templates ready to use, but I can also create from my own template from scratch. But I will try this one, leave, or maybe business trip, why not? Then I can select type of instance. So is it org-wide, so for entire organization, or maybe for a specific group of people, or maybe for team, for selected teams. I will use, well, let's check and team-wide, my approval teams. Okay, yes, I can select category, maybe some description, change icon, maybe this one. Then I can change a form for my approvals. Okay, there's reason, so there's more fields than in standard basic approval form. But if you are familiar with Microsoft Forms, so you can, well, this is Microsoft Forms, basic with limited features, but it's based on Microsoft Forms, so it's on same layout, same functionalities, same options. So I can add reason, maybe short answer. I can add a new field, only 3 available, so date, text, and choice. Let's say choice, type of trip, conference, meeting, order. Okay. And then next, and I can change actions to custom responses if I want or not. And I can select if approver, if creator will be able to enter approvers, or I can specify approvers here and no. users won't be able to enter their own approvers. So let's say all approvals will be sent to myself. Yeah. And preview. This is the preview form. So more advanced, more options, more fields. And publish. And that's it. Okay, this is approvals template new. So if I go and try to create a new approval, there's templates section in the new window. So if I go and click there, yeah, business trip. So I can use it as standard, as basic approval. So type a username. So as you can see, I can't change approvers. This is hard-coded, and I can't change it. Reason, maybe it's conference. I must provide all required fields, so I can't miss anything. Maybe test. Error. All fields must be selected and then sent. Because it's preview mode, so something can be not working correctly, but let's check. Let's wait a few seconds for that one. Okay, yes, preview mode is, oh yeah, unexpected error. Okay, because keep in mind it's in preview mode, so error can occur, some issues, etc., and some missing features. But as you can see, templates are quite very powerful, and it will allow us to to create templates, to create some basic templates for most common scenarios in your business, in your organization. So if you want to create a template for business trip, overtime, leave, whatever you want, that is for approvals in Teams, you can create that one, create that template, and let your users, let your employees use that template. So it's easier for them and for you to manage approvals and work with approvals. And the second new feature that is coming soon to Teams, and it's available in preview mode, is the capture electronic signature. Currently, it's only Adobe Sign. So if I click there, I must sign in. So I must have some Adobe account, or you can start 30 days trial or something like that. So it's connected to my Adobe Sign account, Adobe account. So if I go, I can check if there's anything from Adobe. Here, as you can see, there's one process, one approval waiting for me. But if I want to create one, I can click simply new approval request and select if it's a basic approval. So based on Microsoft 365 and Teams, or if it's eSign, so based on Adobe Sign. Currently, there's only Adobe Sign, but more providers should be available soon. So I think that when it's available in Teams, not as a global available, so it should be more providers. So name of request, offer, accept some details. I must add attachment because yeah, there must be some. This one, role. Okay, and if I send that one to someone, of course that person must have that Adobe Sign license, account, etc. Yes, send. As you can see, it's some typo, but I can go and check it, and I get email. Yeah, I had some sound for emails. Yeah, it's in Polish because it's Polish. Yes, I don't know why. Should be in English, but I got email from Adobe that something new is waiting for me. So I use only here approvals application in Teams and created approval directly in Adobe Sign. So I can go there, check, go to details and sign it. Yes, because I'm signing as in different accounts, so I can't sign it here from here, but I can know if I create a approval with some with some e-sign electronic signature, I can track progress directly from Teams. I don't need to switch to Adobe, to DocuSign, to something somewhere else to check if it's the current status, what's going on, etc. I can check it directly from Teams, but I can also create a new one directly from Teams. That's a huge, if you are working with such approval processes, I think that's a huge step forward for Teams and for work with approvals directly from Teams. And these two features are in preview mode, so you can switch your Teams to preview mode and play with them, check how it works, what's good, what's wrong, and they should be available in next couple of months, maybe June, July. I don't know, because it's changed very often. But I think that's in 1, maybe 2 months, and they will be ready to use. Okay. But as you can see, I covered only basic scenarios, so one stage approval process. But what if we have first level, second level, third level, many levels of approval processes? Everyone can, of course, reject, and we can go back, go forward, etc. So you need complex solution, or you have complex solution built in on Microsoft 365. But how to do this with Teams? Is it possible to integrate that kind of approvals with Microsoft Teams, with approval application? Well, if it is possible with Power Automate, if you want to create complex solution, you can do this with Power Automate. Or if you have such solution created in Power Automate, you can connect it to Microsoft Teams, and there are 2 options to do that. Of course, in Power Automate, there are a lot of templates for approvals, and they work very similar to approval application, or maybe approval application Teams works very similar or in the same way as Power Automate approvals. And yeah, from simple to complex, but for simple, we can use Power approval application in Teams, so we don't need to go to Power Automate and create a flow and work with that flow. But for complex, for multi-level, multi-stage approvals, well, we should use a Power Automate and then integrate it with Microsoft Teams. Yes, and we have 2 options. We can use approval with adaptive cards. So we can use existing approval process in Power Automate and then send approval request to a team's personal chat or to a channel using adaptive cards, we assign it to specific people, even to entire team. So everyone from that specific team can approve or reject that approval. Or we can send adaptive card and wait for response. So there's without approval action in flow, but it will be available to every member of a team without strict assignment. So if a new member is added to a team, that member will be able to approve or reject that that request. And this option allows us to it's more powerful, but quite a little more work. Okay, I prepared 2 approvals. Yeah, first one is travels. No. Go back, please. This one, content scheduler. It's based on Microsoft list, so nothing new here. I filled that form. Yeah, basic form. Okay, some information. It really doesn't matter what I type here because it's only for demo, but you can use your own form, own data source, own process. Okay, and saved. And if I go to Power Automate, yes, so it looks like this in Power Automate. So if you are currently using approval, so these 2 actions, create an approval and wait for an approval. So there's nothing new here, but I extended this approval with post your own adaptive card as the flow bot to a channel. So this is integration action that allows us to send some information to teams and to wait for a response from that team, from that channel, etc. And the work required to do this isn't, there's not so much to do. One action to send that action and few actions to prepare for that. So nothing complex, nothing complicated. But for the end user, I created that blog post about Teams, and sent, as you can see, it appeared on my Teams channel, on general channel with details. So this is adaptive. Okay, go away. Adaptive card sent by Power Automate bot to my channel, and every single member of that team can approve or reject. And that's it, submit. And the second option, okay, about 2 minutes. And the second option is to use only adaptive cards, this one. So there's no approval action in Power Automate, only post adaptive card to a Teams channel. But this time I have more options, because I can create my own adaptive card using. There's a lot of resources about how to build adaptive card. You can check it on Microsoft Docs. So I can compose my own adaptive card, add some dynamic content from my flow, and send that kind of message to a channel. So if I go quickly and create a new travel request, new travel, travel to Chicago. Yes. Maybe some airlines, why not, and save. Okay, so now this basic flow should send and will send a new message to my Teams channel, but with different type of formatting, with more options and with more actions available, because using Power Automate's approval, there's only, well, in basic scenarios, there are only two options: approve, reject. But using adaptive cards, I can create multiple options, multiple actions, and format entire card in my own way. Okay. Now waiting, please. Oh, as you can see, just in time, this is my custom adaptive card sent by Power Automate. So you can add this type of actions, this type of messages to your existing flows and send it to Teams. And if I click something, reject, accept, I can connect some actions to that, format it in my own way. There's a lot of formatting options for custom adaptive cards. So you can get your existing complex process and connect it to Teams. And what is the last thing that's very important? Custom adaptive cards are sent to Teams, but stay in Power Automate. So there's no other place to check it. But if you use approval action in flow and send it to team, it will be available in approvals application. So that's huge benefit, because there's only one place to check all your approvals. It doesn't matter if you create approval in in approvals application in Teams or in Power Automate. It doesn't matter. It will be visible directly in that application. Okay, so that's it. And there's a link to Adaptive Card Designer if you want to check it. I will type it in chat, I think. Yeah, there are some screens for that, but at the end, yeah, this dedicated application in Teams, so you don't need to switch between applications. Guest users with some issues, but they are able to approve or reject approvals. If you want to work with adaptive cards, if you want to work with complex scenarios with your own flows, you can do this. You can use adaptive cards in flow or custom adaptive cards. Private channels are not supported and won't be supported, but for coming soon, templates, that's, I think, my favorite feature, and I'm looking forward to it. That can formalize basic approval processes and signatures that, if you work with electronic signatures, that I think that's a feature that you should consider and definitely check. Okay, so that's all from me. If you have any questions, if there is any question.
Hey Marcin, that was great. There are lots of questions to go through, so I have a list of them. So what I can do, let me unmute people and they can ask their questions. So I think, Fernando, you had a question about the maximum number of approvals. Are you still here? So I think you wanted to know, can you change the maximum number of approvals, i.e. 10 by default?
Well, you can't change. Unfortunately, there's no. All is hard coded, so you can't change anything in this.
Okay. And Magnus and Ari had the same question about getting approvals from external people, even if they're not guests in Teams. So even with DocuSign and Adobe Sign, does that allow non-guests to actually interact with the process?
Well, for signatures, it should be possible, because you send it to using Adobe. In fact, Adobe sent an email and request to someone else. Mm-hmm. So it works quite different than standard approval, because standard approval based on, well, in fact, Power Automate and Adobe based on Adobe. So Adobe sent email to someone else, and so it's possible to interact with other people, not guests, just random guy from that have some Adobe Sign account.
Okay. And the next question from Stefan. How can test approvals be deleted, and how can you send a rejected approval again?
Well, if it's rejected, it's rejected. You must create a new approval.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, if you want to cancel, just click cancel button. There is cancel button if you're owner of that approval.
Okay. And another question from Stefan was, can you attach multiple documents?
No, currently it's not possible, but you can attach a link, maybe to a folder with multiple documents. That's workaround.
Okay, and I guess that kind of comes on to Klaus's question around rather than just browsing files in OneDrive or desktop, can you use Teams and documents that are in Teams and attach those?
No, it's not. It should be possible, but currently it's not available.
Okay. And a question from Satu is, if you add approval to your Teams, does it add the approvals folder to the team document library?
No, it's still in the OneDrive.
Still in OneDrive. Okay. And for the approvals, do they have the 30-day limit like Power Automate if they're not responded to?
Well, yes, it's the same as Power Automate.
Okay, and question from Magnus, which role do you need to have to access the template management?
Well, currently, if you switch to, because it's in preview,
mm-hmm.
So if you can switch to preview, you can work with templates.
Okay, so there's no role to manage those templates at the moment.
Currently, no. There should be some, but yeah, there's no roles currently.
Okay, and is there a template for requesting new teams in Teams?
Unfortunately, no, it's not. Yeah, it should be, because it's so basic scenario. I think that there's no such option. I don't know why. No.
Okay, I think I've covered everybody's questions. If I haven't covered your question, if you want to put your hand up and then unmute and you can ask the question.
Yeah, and of course, don't forget to rate my session and other sessions, because we need that feedback from you guys.
Absolutely, yeah. And as Antoine says, there are actions in Power Automate to create teams. So yes, you can do that provisioning of teams and the approval process using Power Automate flows.
Yeah, that's always I think that.
Okay, we do have Magnus. Do you have another question? If you want to unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, I have another question. So Marcin, thank you for a great presentation. So you mentioned in the beginning that approvals work in the different environments, but when I tried the team Dataverse for Teams, and I get a different environment than the standard one, and I run approvals in that, I find it very clunky for the user to actually respond to the approval request in another environment than the standard one, because then when you go to the approval app, you come to the default environment, but then you have to find, oh shit, I have to change environment up there. There's no one who's going to do that. They don't know that they're going to change environment. Of course, you can train people to that, but isn't there an easier way, or isn't Microsoft thinking of how to make it more intuitive for the user?
Yeah, it's currently you must know that there's other environment in your organization that's said that there's no option for all environments, but I think there should be something new. And currently, I don't know about a specific feature for that. But yeah, huge.
And I even find, I think that the sent approvals are not in the environment per se. They're actually in the standard environment. So there's a confusion as, isn't there?
Yeah, there's by default you send to your default environment. If you want to send to another one, you must go and select. So you must know to which one. It's
Okay.
not so easy.
Not so easy. Okay, thanks.
Okay, we've got one more hand up. So Hiwei, make it really quick because we're out of time now.
That means
hello. So my question is about normally I would like, if I want to send to approval request, I wish to another user would monitor the whole approval process, like the Outlook, the CC, the CC function. He don't need the other user don't need to approve, but he need to monitor the whole approval process. Do we have any good ways, like use Power Automate or other ways to handle these requests? Just let the second user to monitor the whole approve process. Traditionally, we have to use emails, send an approval email for, let's say, for my manager, and CC add a second user in the CC list. Once my manager approved, he just reply the email and just approved. So I'm considering if this can be done in the Power Automate or just the approval process in Microsoft Teams.
Well, in Power Automate you can do this because you have full control over approval, so you can add second approval or maybe send email. But from Teams, well, there's no such option. You can add multiple approvers, and select that only one or first will work, but other people should know that they only for CC, so they shouldn't do any actions. So there's no such option currently. If you create approval process in Teams, it's your own, and only you can monitor that one, and that's it.
So, but in Power Automate, I tried, but once my manager approved the request, but we have to use send the email, but the email address is my email address. Possible to use like the no reply or any other kind of email address. So
well, in Power Automate you can send some additional emails or add a group to the or additional people to approval. It's not so straight to do, but some kind of workaround.
Sounds like an advanced process. Yes. I'm going to have to call it now, guys, unfortunately, because we have to prepare for the next session. But certainly, if you want to carry on the conversation in chat, then feel free to.